All right, all right.
All right.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome. This is Dungeon Class. This is where you come to get critical points to level up your D&D game. You'll see with us, we've got Gonzo as always, and our special guest right now we have with us tonight, Wally DM, which you may have, I hope you've bought his book by now, his puzzle book. He's famous for his puzzles, but he also has other aspirations. He's not just a puzzle guy, right?
That's right. I'm a beer guy as well.
Yes, he's got other hobbies. As you can see behind him, he collects these little frisbee-looking things.
Yeah, a bunch of disc golf behind me. Wife kicked me out of the office, so I'm hanging out in the game room, and nice. So that's the wall.
Nice. You're gonna have to tell Gonzo here what you were telling me about this combination of frisbee golf and D&D.
Yeah, so there is a board game called Birdie, and it is like disc golf plus Magic the Gathering plus Dungeons and Dragons. And you've got like all of these different 6-sided dice. You've got D20s, you've got D10s. You pick a little character card as far as your disc golfer goes, and you get pluses or minuses to your attributes when you're driving, and you can turn little tokens in for other attributes and stuff. And it just played it for the first time last night. It was really, really cool.
Wow, that is a killer idea. I love that idea.
Yeah. I saw you post something. I don't know where it was, probably Twitter, where you were playing frisbee golf. That's a big thing here in Florida because they can play almost year round, or they can play year round, except for when it rains. But
absolutely, last 2 years I've actually been down in Florida playing disc golf. First one was in Orlando, and then last year by you guys in on the West Coast there.
Yeah, cool. It's a lot of cool. So how's your book doing? How's the Wally DM's journal puzzles and
I am completely humbled by how well it is doing. Everyone is picking up a copy, and I sold 2,200 copies so far. So we're 300 away from that next level, which is Mithril, and I am super Mithril level, which is wow.
Congrats, dude! Congrats.
Good.
It's a good product, well deserved. Like I said, there's not really a dungeon master, if they hear about it, that doesn't want to throw $20 with the opportunity to get a book that has tons of puzzles and traps that they could throw in there. I don't know why you wouldn't. With everything else we buy as DMs, and you know what I mean. Honestly,
absolutely, man.
Yeah, we buy how many DM screens do we need? Yet we get every one of them, right? So, but why not get a book that'll help us? So I'm excited for you. I think it'll keep growing. Like just keep pushing it, and maybe one day you could do that Kickstarter we talked about, where you take what you have done and then add another 40 to it, make it a big book of 100. And
you should see my list. I keep everything in a WordPress document, and it is extensive. I've got like 60 puzzle ideas in there. Some of them are like really fleshed out. Some of them just need some love, but it's just like, holy smokes, man, I got to get these done.
Okay.
That's excellent. No, very good.
Congrats.
Yeah. So if you want, just put pause on your dice buying and just buy a puzzle book. So that's the way I see it.
There you go.
Wanted to remind everybody and chat. I know we have a few people coming on. We have super chat and stickers are on there. And if you do, we've had people give in the past in there and ask a question or something and give a little bit here and there. We appreciate that because as we mentioned before, Wally can probably add as well that running a D&D channel does have costs involved. And so this kind of helps offset that a little bit. So even, a little bit here and there, that's helpful. And we didn't want to saddle you with some big monthly bill or anything. So I think a little bit here and there is great. So we appreciate that.
Good stuff.
So I wanted to start off, Gonzo, talking about briefly. I know we've got Wally here, so we don't want to dwell too much. But our last video, dude, we may have stirred up a hornet's nest here.
Yeah. That's to say the least. But that was kind of the intent. That's what YouTube is. People will comment like this is clickbait or whatever. And then I look around at YouTube videos, even D&D YouTube videos, and taking 20 or who was it? Someone put stop playing D&D. Davey Chappie.
And I just watched that.
Yeah, stop playing D&D. Yeah. Obviously, it's a clickbait because when you watch it, he's saying, "Hey, I love D&D, but if you want, try some other RPGs as well." But that title wouldn't get you there, right? So the title of your YouTube videos, when you make YouTube videos, you're trying to get people to, just like every news outlet and everybody else. You're trying. It's the nature of the beast where you try to get engagement, whether it's good or bad, and then people dive in and they actually find out what you're about. And
Yeah.
I think what's important is as long as you deliver on your promise of
Right.
entertainment. I mean,
Right.
you know, who cares what you click to get there? If you enjoyed the video, then it was
Yeah,
well
right.
worth it, in my opinion.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So what was our title? What was D&D Stinks or something, or what was it? Fifth edition.
Yeah.
5 ways that
Okay.
fifth edition is the worst, and
Yeah.
we got called out a little bit here. But
So if we were to title that differently, we would say 5 reasons how to improve 5th edition or something, right? But that wouldn't be as catchy, wouldn't get people clicking on it to see what in the world. So yeah, that was kind of the negative comments came from the title, but not from the comment. And I don't care if it's negative or positive to me, because it's engagement. We can have conversations. I had people tearing me up in Facebook groups and stuff. And then I went in and said, yeah, this was our intent. And if you watch the video at the end, we actually tell you that we're going to do a video on 5 reasons we love 5th edition. And he's like, oh, and then all of a sudden the tune changes. So it's just engaging conversation. It opens that window for you to be able to connect with fans. And that's the main thing, because that's what we enjoy. So
no spoilers for me because I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah, it's okay.
I've already got my list, man. I was gonna,
it's basically a five way, 5 reasons or 5 things you can do to improve 5th edition, or we would want for 5th edition to improve. And some of the points, I actually took some of the comments and I really enjoyed what people were saying, because I thought about it. I'm like, they're right. So I don't let you watch the video, but we talk about homebrew and other stuff. Like, they were right. And I tell them that in the comments, like, you're right. I don't mind changing my mind either. Like, what's the difference? We're just all playing a game and we want to talk about it whichever way we want. But yeah, it's been a fun video to watch, kind of go out there and see how people respond. And
did you guys do another controversial one not too long ago? If I'm
6th edition. Yeah, we do.
we got scorched on that one.
What was that?
6th edition. It's finally here.
Yeah. So about
that was a fun one, though. That's worth the watch.
Yeah, it was like, I think we try to do one of those about once every 6 weeks or so. Not all, not every video should be that way, I don't think, because we do content videos too, like actions and combat. What can you do? Things that certain people will click on, but we try to have something just to spice things up about every 6 weeks or so. So we tried this up, and what we're really wanting to do, Wally, and this is where we'll need your help and others, is we want to kind of have a review of each edition with these videos in mind. 5 things that we would improve, 5 things that we Mark, 5 things that we like about it. So even 4th edition, we got to find 5 things that we liked about 4th edition, 5 things that we would improve. 1st edition or Beckme or whatever, we consider all that one thing, but 5 things we liked about 1st edition or advanced D&D. That would be a fun one, because it's hard to knock that one down, because it's where it all started. And but we can find 5 things easy that could improve, which they did improve over time. So
absolutely. And I can help you with Beckme in 1st edition, and then I leap all the way to 5.
Yeah. No worries. So Gonzo, I have a quick follow-up story to our, kid. We had the D&D video we did about playing with kids.
Yeah.
So I just found out from my niece, one of my nieces, she's 13. This one kind of blew me away. So she is in a group of 10 kids, and they all go to each other's houses. They all take turns DMing a one-shot. So she went from not knowing how to play much. In July, we taught her, and not only is she playing, I'm like, I'm so proud of her as our uncle. I'm like, this is good stuff. So yeah, I mean, talk about jumping in with both feet. That one kind of blew me away.
We need to send out some Dungeon Class shirts.
Oh yeah. You're right. That's actually not a bad idea, because her sister is one of our best customers.
Yeah,
but yeah. So her older sister's in 2 games. She plays twice a week. So she's really in, the 16-year-old. So yeah, they're hooked. We got them.
Right. And I know at the turn of the hour, generally a lot of people come in around 7 o'clock or so into the chat. But tonight we're also looking to give wrenches away, a couple. If you're interested, let us know. What we expect out of a wrench or a moderator on your YouTube channel, on your live streams, is that you can drop links to anything that we're talking about. You can drop links to, like tonight, we could drop Wally DM's, Journal of Puzzles and Traps, put that link in the chat so people could see it, click right on it and go right to it. And also moderate the chat if there's any kind of shenanigans or whatever they can delete it or whatever. I mean, we don't have that issue yet, but at some point we hope to be big enough where we do.
Yeah.
so
yeah, when there's like 1,000 people in chat, it's gonna be really hard.
They do it. I've seen them. They do it. The mods are good, but we are looking to give a couple of those away. I know there's some interest from some people, so
I went ahead and made Logan one, so you can kind of see what that looks like. He's got the little blue nose. He's a moderator right now, but I can do that with anybody. And also, in a moment, I'm going to drop in the link for this actual live stream, or you can jump actually in here and join us and share your favorite adventure, because as promised, this is our show and tell episode. We've never done this before, so we're going to try and see how that goes. And I hope we thought we'd do it while he's here. Yeah, for sure. And I see Pale Rider's in the chat. Pale Rider's an artist. I follow him on Twitter, so I hope he has. I hope he comes in. I hope you come in, Pale Rider. Show yourself or show your stuff. And but he's an artist. Oh, pretty good one. Yeah. So you never know who you're gonna see. So. You never know. Yeah, but I don't. I are pretty good, but not that good. Yeah.
So I love artists, especially when they can do character portraits and stuff like that. That's amazing. That talent is just beyond my comprehension.
Yeah, I agree. I really wish that was my skill, because Mark does all of he does all of the editing of the videos and all the tech stuff, and I can't help in that way. I'm just not built that way. But I wish I had that skill, because I could add to the channel that way. I could draw stuff for you. I could draw stuff. I would do it for anyone, but I'm just not. I wanted to be that. I wanted to be an artist, but didn't work that way. But I cut trees down for a living, so I don't know how that helps. That's an art. Yeah, I changed all trees. Cutting those trees. Yeah,
that's right.
So I thought we'd start maybe off by kind of talking about our favorite adventures. So who wants to go first? I'll go first, and let me give you a quick. Mark, we haven't even spoken. I just got on right before. I know. How you been, man? Yeah, I should ask that. Yeah, terrible. Today was terrible, but I got really good news. I don't feel really good today, but I went to get my steroid shot, which I have to get 3 days in a row after my chemo week, which was last week. And they moved my schedule, giving me Thanksgiving off, because I was supposed to get chemo Tuesday, and then I'm sick for like till Saturday or Sunday. Oh, that'd be rough. Yeah, that's a rough Thanksgiving, But they gave me that whole week off, so I get basically 3 weeks in between. So I have a really good week coming up next week, and I'm really excited for that, to not have to get that stuff in me. So definitely. I felt better coming home, and I took a quick nap, and that's why I'm late to the party here. I just got here in time, yeah. But anyway, doing well. And I'll start, if you don't mind, because I may bow out at some point. Logan may jump in, so play tag team or something. But right. And I think Logan really just wants to meet Wally, so he'll kick me out.
I thought I'd talk to Logan. I guess
another one of those Wally groupies.
Yeah, they're everywhere. They're everywhere. So, all right. So I'm going to show you an adventure that and when we talk about adventures and sharing, they can be from anything. I mean, it could be any inspiration you get, but we mentioned modules, adventure modules, which is an old school term for adventures. Now they come in big books like Rime of the Frost Maiden or whatever it may be. And I do like a lot of those, but there's one that I used recently. It's an old one. So I'm going to show it to the camera. UK3 and UK2. This continues from the second one, UK2, which I believe was called, it's not the Gauntlet, it's called the Sentinel. And it's about a story about this troll. He's got a keep, and he's got this gauntlet that has all kinds of powers, and your group is trying to get it. And the only way to nullify the gauntlet is by using the other one that you should have gotten in the first adventure, called the Sentinel. So I started the group without doing the first adventure, and tied it into, made it 5th edition style as far as what they faced and the ogre and all that. But this was a fun one to run, and I didn't use the map. I didn't use the maps because I'll show you. They were pretty crazy. Like
it's old school maps right there.
Yeah, old school maps. There's the keep. But I did use the map of the land, and we just tied it into our running campaign, and it was a lot of fun. And I used some of the names in here, the passive Adlerweg, And yeah, it was a fun one. So the Gauntlet is one of my favorites because I've used it, and it was a lot of fun to tie into 5th edition and easy to do. And it's an old. I mean, this was written in '84, so it's pretty old. But again, it doesn't matter where you get your story inspiration from. They always work. A good story always works. Doesn't matter. So
Absolutely.
So that's one of them. That's one of them. Who wants to go next?
Well, since we're in the 80s, I can go next if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Okay, so a little secret about me is I've only ran 3 in my entire life. 2 of them were in the 80s, and then 1 that I'm running now. So my knowledge on running them is very low, but I know a lot about modules and pre-published adventures. But the one that absolutely I love is Against the Cult of the Reptile God.
That's the good stuff.
This was like my neighbor picked this up at like a garage sale for me in the 80s and brought it to me. And it is basically it's for low-level adventurers. And there's a lot of folks that are disappearing. People are acting weird. The residents are locking themselves in their houses at night. And spoiler alert, at the very end, the adventurers will travel through the underground dungeon or whatever it is, and a spirit naga is charming all of them. So they go up against the spirit naga in the end. They defeat the spirit naga. Then all of the citizens come back to normal, except for the troglodytes. They still hate everybody. But yeah, this book has had some love. I mean, it's it's falling apart a little bit. And I also believe that if you want to get a copy of it in PDF form, it's like a bestseller on the DM's Guild or Drive-Thru RPG. It's like adamantine level, which is as high as you can go. So,
wow.
Oh, wow. Okay. And is that the original Wally or the 5th edition conversion?
This is the original, and I don't believe they've reprinted this for 5th edition. But I mean, you can take these again for the ideas. You can.
Right.
Just take a lot of it's role playing in the city or the town, which easily converts, and then you can take the monsters and move them over and stuff. I don't think it'd be too hard. I'd actually like to run a 1 or 2 shot with this at some point just to play it again.
What's the hook for that one? Against the Cult of the Reptile God. What's the main hook? Like, are the players asked to go do something, or is it something that you can? Just drop on them.
Spot there.
Well, I don't know if you remember. If you don't remember,
that was only 40 years ago.
You remember what you were doing 4 years ago? Yeah.
Okay, that's fine if you don't remember. I mean,
I don't exactly remember. I just know that once they get into town, everybody's acting weird and stuff. So, that's.
I know Matt Colville talked about how that was one of his favorite ones.
It's amazing.
Yeah, he went on and on about how, I mean, he talks 90 miles an hour, but I think he actually went through a lot of it on one of his episodes. But yeah, that's a classic. Good one. Very good choice, Wally.
Thank you.
I like that. All right, so I'm embarrassed to say I don't have my modules with me because I think I realized I brought it over and put it in the dungeon class studio over there somewhere. So the only modules I had, and I don't know if I even had this one because I played it, and it was my first one I ever played as a new player, and it's Keep on the Borderlands. And so that one has near and dear to my heart because of that. And what I like about Keep on the Borderlands is, to me, it has that kind of almost nowadays, I think about it all the time because video games kind of have this hub-based kind of thing where and Keep in the Borderlands, you had to keep that you went in, and then you went out and did these different adventures, but you had a centerpiece that was the keep that you kind of was your home base. And so I think about that a lot because I'm like, wow, it's kind of a precursor for a lot of video game ideas is that you have your hub and you go off and do these different quests and all. And so I kind of like that. Now, as a new player, I was just totally enthralled by D&D in general. As an adventure to play, I think looking, by today's standards, it doesn't have a great story in any way, shape, or form. It's just a series of different quests. Maybe a good thing for people to get into, and maybe that was perfect for me, a new player. Didn't really know what I was doing. Story wasn't so key, and you just get in there. It's very raw. Like you, as a DM, you could take it and make it all different stuff that they give you. Here's the keep. Here's some things. Here's some quests that they can do. And hey, DM, here's some other things that you could add to this. So it's very much a kind of bare bones kind of setup. Great for a DM. But as a player, I was just wow, D&D is so cool. You get to do all this stuff and you go get the loot. And the reason we went to go do that is because it sounds like there's going to be a reward. And so the story wasn't super, super good for that. But it's near to my heart, I think, just because it was my first one. Now, as for one I ran more recent as well as old, this is old and new. I like Tomb of Horrors and I like it because I ran it, but I ran the 5th edition version, and I like it only because it's such a mean thing to run. I mean, you have to have the right mindset, I think, to your players. It's like, hey, just FYI, it's me against you. Just want to let you know that up front. That's not normally how we play, but it kind of has that vibe that I'm trying to kill you, and in all these different wonderful ways. But the 5th edition one definitely had the teeth taken out of it, so to speak. It wasn't as deadly, but it's just there's so many times when I was prepping it to run it this last time, and I was just laughing because I'm like, this is so wrong. Why would someone do this to somebody? But it's gonna be such fun to play. So but also, if you watch our video, we talk about this. That do not do that as a one shot. I don't know what I was thinking that we could do that as a one shot, because it took 12 hours, Gonzo. I think that one day it was.
Yeah, we spent a whole day doing it. We were into it for the first 6-7 hours, and then we just had to finish it because we wanted to beat you.
It was getting late and everything. So it was Logan's poor wife. It was the first time she ever played. Talk about trial by fire. It was like,
You're in the Tomb of Horrors.
Yeah, it's a wonder she still talks to me or anyone.
Yeah, that was a bad thing. But we've talked about that, how to make Tomb of Horrors a little better. And I really feel that the key is to not tell anyone that you're running them through that.
Yeah.
Because if people are like, you told us weeks in advance, so we created characters to try to beat it. So every spell I picked was, I was really knowing that there's traps in Tomb of Horrors. I was like, spider climb will come in handy and detect traps and all these different things or whatever. Like we kind of built our characters to try to beat Tomb of Horrors. That's not a lot of fun because that's just, me against them or whatever. But if you just drop it in and lay hints that there's great treasures, including a sword called the Black Razor, Vorpal sword or something, and all this kind of stuff, and you may be able to trick your players into going and finding one of the 3 entrances that may kill you. So, yeah, that's a good one.
Now, have either of you ever played the 1st edition version or no?
I have not. I don't know why. I guess maybe the DM didn't feel like maybe he wasn't mean enough or didn't hate us enough. I don't know.
Yeah.
If we got real cocky and go, you can't beat us, we're so powerful, because that was Gygax's motivation there. But I could see a DM going, oh really, and pulling out Doom of Horror.
Nice.
Yeah, very cool. That's a good one. I've never played. I don't remember playing it 1st edition. I remember hearing about it, seeing it. I think maybe even my neighborhood dungeon master, I think he even had it, but I don't remember going through it. So that's how memorable it was.
One of the worst things about this year, 2020, was, there's been a lot of worse things. Let's be true there. But I was actually set to go to GaryCon, a convention in March, and it was canceled. But I was actually signed up to play 1st edition Tomb of Horrors with one of the Gygaxes.
Oh man!
Oh, that's right. I know you said you were playing. I didn't realize you were playing Tomb of Horrors.
Yeah, that was Tomb of Horrors 1st edition with one of the Gygaxes in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin, and of course it got canceled. So I've never played either version yet.
Well, that could have been a really short game for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Spear of Annihilation. What's that? I climb into the mouth.
Yeah. That would have been. Yeah, I'm so excited to play. This is great, guys. And you're dead. Okay, well, it's been nice playing.
So I'll reiterate. If you have D20 or anybody wants to come in, the link is in the chat somewhere. I know Mark dropped it earlier. Look for it.
Yes.
And all you do is click it, and you'll pop up. And if you don't want to show your face, we understand. We don't want to show ours, but we have to. But you can just put your camera on your adventure that you want to talk about, and we can admire and brag about it. So there's the link again. If you guys are in there and you want to come in, go ahead. Here's one that I want to talk about that I really enjoyed. This is one of my favorites, and I'm going to show you where where I got it from. So this is a dungeon magazine.
Oh yeah.
Okay. And this has an adventure. And I'll show you the bottom too. Wanty shaved harpies. I don't know what that's about.
What on earth? What are you reading,
I didn't create
Gonzo?
it. But this has
This
an
is a family
adventure.
show.
They did something called Adventure Pass back in 3rd edition and 2nd edition even, where Dungeon Magazine would have an adventure, and then the next month you would get the Dungeon Magazine, and it would have a continuation of that adventure, but it would keep leveling up. And I liked the adventure path called, oh gosh, I just went blank. It's the Savage Tide. Savage Tide adventure. And what I loved about it was a pirate themed adventure. It started basically almost like Pirates of the Caribbean. There's 4 black pearls or something that you have to go find. Without them, the seas are in turmoil. It's mutating some of the creatures, the sea creatures. The sea elves are mutating. They're more evil now. Different things are coming out of the ocean and attacking villages. So I like that. And then what I really liked was, and I'll open it up and find it for you, was it had really good NPCs built in. This is one of them. She's on the cover. And I used her. I'll bring it up. Harless Javel. I loved her name. I loved her look. She's a female pirate. And you go into a cave, and you eventually find her fighting off some bullywugs. One of those cave dwelling issues. And you go in there, and you kind of save her. And then she takes you on her ship and helps you to get through. And I kind of started a campaign built around this Savage Tide scenario. And I love the maps that they gave us. They had full color maps here. I'll show you a couple of them. Different, even the names of the places like Scuttle Cove, which is like a pirate city. I can't make a better name up than that.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Great map.
Great map.
This is boats
right
that are attached, and you can walk from plank to get to the next one. And it's just a lot of good stuff. And I pulled out of this. I have the following dungeon magazines as well. I pulled a few things out of it, created my own, because we homebrew everything, right? Created my own overarching theme and created my own little map, even though they use the Isle of the Dread map from old school and built into there. But I used I love the NPC names. I love the maps. They were already done for me. Little town on the edge of the water called Farscape or Farscope or something. Just cool little places. I was like, this is perfect. I'll use this village. I'll use this name. I'll use this NPC. And I'll use the overarching story somewhat. What I didn't use was all the further adventures that went on, at higher levels. They go into, I think they even go into one of the 9 planes of hell and face demons and all that stuff. We didn't get there. I wanted to stay on the water, but it was a good source of pre-made information that I could just take and drop, and I had it right in front of me. And so that was a lot of fun. This is the Dungeon Magazine number. I'll tell you what number it is. It's 2007 May. Come on, why don't they have the number on there now?
So these dungeon magazines that you speak of, you could get these at the corner 7-Eleven, right? These where you just pick these up there.
No, there was a subscription, just like Dragon Magazine was, and it was, it was something I just get them off eBay because there's so much info. And this Dungeon Magazine has they always have at least 3 pre-made adventures, a lot of times many more, that you can use. Sometimes even a 1-page adventure in the back and articles. So it was really useful because when do we not want a little spark or an idea for a night of D&D? So you can just go in and open it up and be like, oh, I like that idea. I don't like the level that they're at, but I can make it my level of my players and take it and go. And they're well written. A lot of them include maps. They give you the monsters. Now this is 3rd edition stuff. You just upgrade it. If they're using a gorilla or a bullywug, you just open your monster manual and use the bullywug for 5th edition, and you did it. You converted it to 5th edition. Yeah. So it's not hard to do. Right. But I just showing that using old school stuff again really comes in handy because there are so many good ideas written in the last 30 years, 40 years. So in fact, I saw an article today or a little thing about using the Bible as inspiration for D&D, and a lot of people have done that. So
interesting.
That'd be cool. A lot of
Yeah.
violence in there we can tap into. So
Yeah, there is. Yeah, David and the Goliath. That'd be a good one. Yeah. So I wanted to go back to what.
Dungeon Bible Magazine.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
That may be a video we do. That'll be another clickbait. Right, Wally?
Yeah, right. Yeah, that would be. Yeah, we'd take some heat over that one too.
The worst 5 Bible stories in D&D.
Yeah, these are. Someone mentioned that these are cheap to buy. They were cheap when they first came out. They're only
They're
like
going up in price.
Yeah, on eBay they're getting more expensive because they're harder to find, especially complete with everything in them. And but you can get a lot of dungeon magazines and just try it out, depending on what age, and because I don't care about condition, I just want the stuff in it, right? And you can have a lot of fun just reading through the articles, seeing what was going on then when the game was transitioning from 2nd edition to 3rd and all of that, and and go from there. So or if you happen to have a gaming store that has some old collectible ones, they'll have them there too, or whatever. But eBay's a good way, or maybe Facebook groups, I don't know. So
yeah, I try to do a little bit of research on a few of them before I go to a convention, or when conventions were a thing. There's a few vendors there. Well, they just have boxes and boxes of old Dragon and Dungeon magazines and stuff. You can just flip through like you're at a comic book store. It's really neat. I've actually got, I don't remember if it's Dragon magazine or Dungeon magazine, but I have 2 of them. And inside, they had like 4 parts of a Faerun or Forgotten Realms map. So I've got like half the map. So I still need to find the other 2 magazines to get the other half of the map.
Wow. Yeah, these are so full of good info. I mean, I can't talk enough about them. I really like them. I have a whole thing of them that I go through and just go through them because, and then I'm like, okay, I'll use that. Put my finger on it, mark it, and then start pulling the info out. And a lot of my work's done for me. One of the hardest things I have coming up with is names. And some of these names are well written because these are by professional game makers and adventure makers. So the names match the feel of the adventure, and that helps a lot. And then just NPCs and maps in general. So now if I need traps, I'll go to you, Wally. But
well, I get my traps just like everybody else does. I seen that Grim Tooth was mentioned earlier.
Yeah,
so,
I saw that.
A lot of my trap inspiration comes from just the same sources. I'll plunder like your Tomb of Horrors. I'll go through. I've got all types of trap books, and that's where I get my ideas. Puzzles usually my own, but traps I got to find some books.
That's good.
So D20 said he likes Against the Giants. So has anybody played this one? I know I just prepped it 5e version for us to play sometime.
Oh, cool. Because it's available in a book that I was going to show, but I forgot to go grab them.
Yes.
Tales of the Yawning Portal.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they put it in there. So, Against the Giants, I played that original, the Hill of the Stead. What was it? Oh, gosh. Steading, Hill, Giant Steading or something. But, that's a good one for sure. Yeah,
excellent. Yeah, no, I like that one because it's got a lot of possibilities. Again, a lot of variety. It's not like on rails kind of thing. There's a lot of it's kind of still feels sandboxy for the players, so I like that one a lot. So I'm looking forward to running that one. So
and it's done in the way that we do probably now when we homebrew our stuff, but it's like the bad guy you think is the main bad guy is secretly working for somebody else, and then that ties into the Drow, and I know people say it's Drow, but I still say Drow. But I know, but it ties into the Drow, and that was when I was a kid. Like that was so cool because then you went to Queen of Demon Wed Pits and all that. Like if you wanted to keep going, you could really go. So
yeah, well, D20 is that you could do Slave Lords and Against the Giants, and then right into Drow. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. Yeah, a lot of fun.
And to touch on what you said there, as far as Drow goes, I totally understand where you're coming from. I mispronounced so many words because there was no internet back then. It's just whatever you read and how you read it. Like when I first read Chimera, I read it as Chimera.
Chimera, yeah.
So all my players, there's a Chimera there,
You say tomato, I say tomato, right? What's the difference? So, it doesn't matter. We're talking about the same evil dark elf. So
that's right.
Right. Pale Rider's got it. So this, we were just talking about Dragon Mags, and they had some interesting adventures, some of which you may or may not want to use. That one kind of sounds like Escape from New York, modern day New York, got Uzis and stuff.
Nice, very
Got a
good.
nice feel there.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Love it. Yeah,
And,
5th edition. Well, and that was back in 3.5 and all. So with 5th edition, it's even easier to make modern day kind of setup. So that would be really easy to drop in your game. Good stuff.
Cujo, if you want to come in, Mark has dropped the link in the chat. You can scroll back and find it, or he can drop it again. But this is an open invite tonight. We're letting anyone come in and just talk about their favorite adventures, maybe show and tell. And you don't have to show yourself if you don't want. You can just put a camera on your book that you want to show off or whatever. But it's definitely a bragging rights kind of thing. Hey, Logan.
I heard open invite.
Yeah,
Leave the door open. See what happens.
Here, just.
Oh wait,
grab the
okay.
chair and I'll sit
Let me go over there too. Hold on.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all over at Gonzo's house.
Yeah. Well, Logan is, but yeah, come on in, Lugs. What else is Anna talking
Gamma World. There you go. Dude, that's the one. Gamma World, Pale Rider. Do you have the figures that go with Gamma World by chance? Because I know they made figures for Gamma World. I saw them recently on Bill Allen's show where he unboxed them, I thought. He ordered some he likes to get the lead ones, and he unboxed them. And they made like the lead kind of deal. Well, I don't know if they're lead or pewter or whatever. Mm-hmm. But he had some of the ones from Gamma World. And I was like, whoa, those have got to be worth a pretty penny. I didn't know they made those. So
what is
interesting. Gamma World, I think it's like it kind of reminds me of maybe a futuristic space science fiction kind of world where I don't know, Pale Rider. I know very little about it, except I remember seeing it in the stores and it looked science fiction-y. And I think it even had laser guns and stuff. And I'm just like, what the heck is that? But I haven't actually played it. But so Pale Rider, have you played Gamma World?
I'm sure he has. There's a book that we got that it was like a blasters and bandits
a Kickstarter or something.
Yeah,
that
it was some kind of spacey themed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're probably trying to bring it back. Yeah, I know they've tried all different angles of 5th edition. That's back when like Spelljammer came out, I think, and all those kind of things that were like. Again, as a kid, I was like, "What the heck? No, man, my D&D's got medieval stuff, man. I don't want to. I don't want to try anything new."
Right. Dr. Feelgood. Now he likes Dungeonland. He said EX1 and EX2. I'm not familiar with those.
I don't either.
It'd be great if you came in and showed us what that looked like.
Yeah. So Dr. Feelgood, come on, click the link. Come on in for a little bit.
Click the link. Yeah, your face will pop up, or you can put the camera right on your table and then pull up whatever you want. We've got open mic night tonight, so that's kind of nice. But
yeah,
I'm not familiar with EX1 or EX2.
I don't either.
Is that expert rules? Is that the old Beckme stuff? Is that what that is?
Sounds like it. Yeah, it sounds like some reason
Star Frontiers
to me, but.
All right, Pale Rider, then post-apocalyptic mutants. There you go. Mad Max with mutants. See, I wanted to say kind of had like it had a Dark Sun kind of feel, but that's what I always think about for Mad Max. But then I was like, no, that's Dark Sun. Interesting. Mad Max with mutants.
Logan, what's one of your favorites? Maybe Logan wants to share one of his.
He might, or maybe just want to come in and bug you. Yeah. So do you have an adventure you want to share there, Logan?
I have something kind of that I've been really into lately, which is for me. I don't know about a lot of you guys. I love homebrewing pretty much everything. And sometimes I don't want just a full adventure ready that I have to kind of take apart and put back together the way I like it. Sometimes I just want elements of it. If I have kind of like in my mind, I have a good idea for a villain or I have a good idea for a hook, but I don't know what kind of monster. I don't know what kind of challenge to put in. This is something that you can find in the DMG. You can find it in a lot of the campaign settings. And the one I've been into a lot lately has been the Theros, the mythic Odyssey Theros. This guy.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Just because I love the Greek feel of it, and I really love its layout. Also, just it's so cool. But one thing that's really cool that I love is it has tables for every god in kind of the pantheon of this world.
Mhm.
Kind of like how in Greek mythology the gods are so key and they shape. They're always messing around with the mortal world, and they have such heavy impacts. And so depending on the god that you follow, or what path you choose, there's different kinds of tables. I have the one pulled up for Erebos. He is the Theros equivalent to Hades.
Okay.
Cool one.
I like them already.
And it's got like a D6 spread for different kinds of things you can do. So
Oh,
for
okay.
example, on the quests part right here,
Mm-hmm.
it's got some options. For example, capture a hero who has come back to Theros as a return and send them back to the underworld. So you have someone that escaped the underworld. They're kind of weird, zombie spirit. You could make that however you want and send them back. That alone is a great hook.
Mm-hmm.
Another one would be like refute the claim of a priest of Heliod, who's kind of like the sun god, like powerful Zeus, goodish king, who is said to be immortal because of the sun god's blessing. So of course Hades would have problems with priests being immortal and cheating death. It's also got tables for villains. One of them that's really cool on here is a prominent knight of another god loses their entire family, then publicly turns to Erebos in hopes of being reunited with loved ones in the underworld. And that's set up as a villain. So how would some kind of knight that's hoping to cheat death and hoping to kind of connect with Hades to steal his loved ones back be a villain to a champion of this Hades or Erebos?
Right.
It's got monsters that you could kind of pick from here. Could be a two-headed Cerberus. Could be a nightmare shepherd, which is some kind of giant demonic nightmare beast.
So 5th edition has done a lot of campaign books recently. They did this one. They did the Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica. They just dropped another one too earlier this year. I can't think. My brain is gone. But what I do like is that they've been dropping these campaign settings, but then within the campaign setting book, they have adventures in there that you can take and use, or at least enough to create an adventure really quick.
Right.
So I like that, because we haven't gone through much in there, but you ran your group up in Utah.
Yeah.
You ran them through some Theros stuff, and that's again, the inspiration can come from anywhere, and it's always a lot of fun. So we've got a guest.
Yeah. D20.
D20.
Hey guys,
welcome.
how's it going? Is audio working?
Yeah, your audio's working.
Outstanding. I was going to show you a few of these old ones. How about this one right here? If you can see this, you can tell there's some mileage on this book right here.
Man, that is classic.
I love this one right here. If you look at it, this was the original rules. This come from like 77 or something like that, and it's got every single rule to the game, every class, every race, every spell, even a sample adventure, 48 pages, the entire book.
Wow.
That's all it was.
That's all we need. That's all we need.
And it looks brand new. Looks like you've
It
really
does. Maximum level you could reach was level 3.
Oh my gosh. You probably wouldn't live that long. You'd be lucky to live to level 3.
You would. You never made it that long back with any of those right there.
Yeah.
Look at those others. I got all those slave pits. See, there's one right there.
Yeah.
Those little aspis-looking insect things,
Yes.
whatever they were called. And
Yes.
you ever made it to the stockade?
Okay.
There was the second one. Then you'd fight the slave lords. And what was cool about the third one, if you beat them, great. And if you didn't, you'd be a captive, and that's when they'd send you into the dungeons. You started with absolutely nothing.
Dungeons of the Slave Lords. Nice.
Yeah, and get
That's
it started
awesome.
right there. And then, of course, from there, you had all the Giant series. That was a great one right there.
Yeah, there it
It
is.
shows on the back what the original modules look like. If I can get it centered over right there.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
With all that. And then, of course, you went to the Descent
Yeah.
into depths and such. If I can get it centered again right there.
Yeah. Good.
That was maybe one of the early pictures of the mind flayers and all right there.
Oh my goodness,
that was
that's
classic.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then of course there was the Drow.
Yep.
Yeah, and then of course there's the old Demon Web
There it
kits
is.
right there.
Oh yeah. There we go. There we go.
So when did you start playing there, D20?
Probably late 70s, it'd be about right. Probably when I was around 10. I was born in 68, so somewhere around that time. And I remember there was one bookstore in town that always had them on one of those spinning racks, kind of like comic books came in. And every time I went by there, I'd always get one. So I've got a big old box about this big, full of all that original stuff. I've even got a bunch of the painted figures that were lead, back when you could buy them in lead. Which, of course,
that's why we all have. That's why we're all so slow, because we play with those lead figures.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I used to put them in my mouth.
You put them in your mouth. Yeah.
All right.
So-
Do you hail from Carolina or Tennessee?
Louisiana.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
close. Oh, that's close. I love it.
So how many modules, as we call them back in the day, would you say came out in a year? So like with 5th edition, we get like 1 or 2 published adventures a year. AD&D, how many, if you were to guess, how many modules would we get in a year?
You couldn't buy them and read them quick enough. There was no way. And, so many of mine are dated around 1980, give a couple years before, a couple after, and I guess I've got 40 of them sitting around here probably. So
Dang.
it seemed like to be their big heyday. And I loved them because to me, they were like reading a book.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Got that one on the shelf.
I'm sure you did. I'm sure you did.
Dude, he has an epic collection.
Nice.
Yeah, yours is
Oh, look
like
at that.
Twinsies.
that great.
Yeah.
I think that's Errol Otis art. That's great stuff. This one had a big old. It had a player's book inside of it, a booklet for monsters and magical items on top of the adventure. So, and Gary Gygax, of course, was the creator of this one too. Yeah, just great stuff. Great stuff.
I think that was when they introduced, what was it called, the Bahir or something like that?
Yeah. Yes, but here, you're right. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I believe that's when it was first seen.
That's a newer one,
Yeah.
82. That's awesome.
Yeah, you go back to those old ones, like the original Monster Manual, was just so tiny right here.
We're going to see some history.
I mean,
right here.
just your classic stuff was in it. Look how thin it is,
Oh, yeah.
And the
That's
art,
your real mythology creatures and all.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
There's some
And then,
artwork.
and then they just added to them every time they made a module, add 2 or 3 new creatures and such.
Yeah, that's amazing. I love it.
So I kind of wonder, sometimes I think, would they, should they do that now where they have like a whole bunch of those books? Or is that, it's a good value for us, but then I wonder if that's what kind of drove TSR into trouble, because they did release so much.
I'll tell you, I love the old ones that were thin, just basic to the point, and then you expand it how you wanted. I mean, these new ones, like I've got the new Frost Queen or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Ice Queen, whatever. And it just
a hell of a difference.
stuns me, the difference that you get. You go from, I think in that Giant, all 3 Giant adventures were in there, and it was maybe 40, 50 pages, and this thing's, 300?
Jeez.
Right.
yeah.
I mean, as the DM, that puts some work on you.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. Go read that 300-page book so you can go run your campaign. Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons I like homebrew is because I feel like if I'm running a module, no spoilers on which one I'm going to show later, but if I'm running a module, I feel like I'm studying for a test the next day. I'm like, oh man, what was that guy's name? What's he doing? I got to remember, what's the plot point? And it's just like,
So I
it's a lot of work.
I'm finding something that's common with almost most DMs, and that is that we're lazy enough where we just want some of the information that they give us, and then we'll do it ourselves because it's too hard to study. Like you said, we get these big adventures spanning from level 1 to level 13 or whatever, and to take characters all the way through that, going by how the books are set up, would take so much of your brain power. I don't have it. So I think in this room, we have a bunch of lazy dungeon masters that do a great job having fun. I love
Lazy fun.
Yeah, right. What was the price point on those modules? I don't even remember what original
They
price.
got.
I think they were like,
Look here.
$12 or something, or
If you look at the back of this one, I don't know if I can hold it close enough, but you can see where all the original Giant series and everything cost $4.95 each.
Wow, $5 each.
Very nice.
That goes through the Giant series and then through the Drow, and even has Tomb of Horrors on here. Tomb of Horrors was $5.49.
Oh yeah,
Wow.
extra 50 cents for all that goodness.
Right.
The Monster
right.
Manual, $9.95.
And so much good stuff. Look at the art that they would put in. I mean, it was black and white. It wasn't colored yet, but
Yeah.
Mhm.
and then every little monster they give you art, magic items. It was just like, it just always led for you as a person to spark your imagination. Look at that. That's great.
Wow.
You see here, I had to color out some of the picture of the harpy from this picture here. It was
Make it kid friendly.
exactly.
Make it kid friendly. Here's a
Oh yeah, I do love that old art. It's so cool.
You know she's gonna rise and kill some people. You just know.
That's right.
When you see the picture, you know.
That's trouble right there.
Yeah. So
Very good. I think somebody asked, "Do you have is it the Isle of Dread?"
Oh, the Dread.
Olive drip.
Trevino. I have it somewhere.
Of course he does. Dude, we know who to contact if we need the information on these.
It's like asking the DJ, "Hey, do you have this song?"
Yeah, right.
I do.
Can you spin for us?
yeah, he's got it. I know he's got it. I'm trying to
Yeah.
get it for him, but
It's a race.
I probably won't.
Now, see, the Isle of Dread I had was for the Beckme series, so it actually came with the blue box. If you went from the red box, then you got the blue one.
All right.
Look at that! Look at that!
Yeah, there's Isle of Dread, the blue one. Yep.
Oh, check that out!
Oh, nice.
Wow, very cool.
And they're in such good condition. I mean, you're the original owner of all these.
Oh yeah, I can remember buying them all. I remember where I bought them at. The store's no longer there, and this one's 1981. Like so almost all of them are 78 to 82.
Yeah, very nice.
Logan said he feels he's in history class.
Yeah.
Yeah. You
There's
might
a
learn
little
something.
map right here that was used and such.
Wow.
All right.
Something we were using there, drawing out.
Very cool. How old were you when you started D20?
Probably around 10 or so, somewhere around there.
Yeah. Wow, that's a good young age to start D&D. Awesome.
Yeah, no kidding.
Do you
Very
still
good.
play? You still play then?
Around here, I recently tried. It's hard to find a good group. And I'll tell you what has amazed me over the years. I got out for a long time.
Yeah.
And when this COVID thing came up, I had a lot of free time. So I went and bought 5th edition and got into it and really liked it and found a group. But it seems I grew up in the old traditional, all right, here's the book. Show me what needs to die. Let me kill it and take its stuff.
Right.
Where today it's more of a storytelling thing, and I kind of get bored.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you probably can find at our tables because we still just give you stuff to kill and give you stuff.
It's a
Yeah.
hack and slash.
Yeah.
Well, you have to know your players. If they want kill, and all that kind of stuff, that's what you got to give them. Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. So with that in mind, how do you feel about the combat? Because my brother was the same way. My brother and I, we played Beckme in 1st edition for years and years and years, and then when I brought him into Pathfinder for a little bit, and then 5th edition, he's just like, this takes forever. I just want to kill things. I just want to do that. But combat was a lot faster back then as well.
Absolutely it was. And as long as everybody's familiar with the combat rules, I like 5th edition. I like the variety because it was so basic. I mean, literally in that first original book, whatever I did with it, there's probably like about 8 pages on how to run the game,
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That was kind of it. So I like the new options, and I can go. Seems like everybody, as long as they're decent players, knows them, and it doesn't slow it down for me. So, okay with it.
Excellent.
It's good stuff.
Excellent.
Here's something I have. All right.
Oh, yeah, that's mine.
I don't remember seeing that one.
I was looking for that one. Yeah.
Yeah, it's here.
Okay.
That's a solo adventure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
solo.
got solos, but I don't have that one.
Yeah, Mark, your copy's here too. We each have one. So I just.
All right.
I was going to send one to Wally because he doesn't have it. So sorry.
Mail it to him.
Appreciate
Yeah,
that.
it's a solo adventure. They used to have some for just one-on-one D&D.
Yeah, for us losers who couldn't find people to play.
Yeah.
Now, is that one-on-one or is that just by yourself solo?
That one's by yourself. That one.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's solo.
Yeah, it's like choose your own adventure.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how I was introduced to D&D. That's in the Beckme series. They actually had a.
Oh, there you go.
Yep,
That's
there's
a
another one.
solo.
It's gold. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're right. It's just like the old Choose Your Own Adventure books back then.
Right.
Y'all ever seen this one, Into the Maelstrom, for levels 25 to 30?
Oh,
Nice.
What is the
You're
I'm
fighting
getting up
gods
there.
then, right?
What's that?
You're fighting gods, right?
Pretty
still got-
much, and you may run up on like 3 ancient fire dragons at one time, or a 60 hit dice fire elemental. Stuff like, yeah,
my 10th level barbarian can take on that.
yeah. There's the original thing.
Ravenloft. There we go.
Yeah, that's
My
by
goodness.
It's old school.
Weiss and
That
Hickman.
is the good stuff right there.
Yeah.
And that was a nightmare and a half right there.
Yep.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I got rid of my copy. Now to replace it, it's like $80 on eBay. I'm
Wow.
gonna end up with it. Yeah.
Yeah, these old books are going up in value very, very fast.
Yeah.
So
And I
I
think
just did
for the
some.
reason
I
we're
did some
talking-
math.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Gon.
No, go ahead.
I said I did some math, which the English teacher doing math, that's rough. But I looked up inflation rates and stuff. So let's say if it were a $5.50 $5.50 for a module, today it would be about $23.
Wow.
Can you imagine if today they were pumping out those things at a $23 price point? So, I mean, I guess you look at it that way, the $29 every once in a while, or $30, maybe $50 if you paid the full price. But honestly, on Amazon, you can get it for $30, these books now. But man, you get a lot of content for that $30 versus, those days, I mean, you get a lot of content there, but $23 a pop, that would add up real fast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, Icewind Dale is a little expensive. Some of them are 50, and you can get it some places 30, 40, but that's a lot of playtime.
It is a lot of playtime. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like a good 6 months to a year right there.
At least.
Yeah, it'll last.
That's why I tell people, I'm like, this is like I was telling my friend who plays golf. I'm like, I guarantee you that this hobby is way cheaper than golf.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Way cheaper.
absolutely.
Unless you're nerds like me and you're always on eBay trying to get old stuff that's really marked up now because nobody has it.
Or another set of dice.
Yeah.
Or another few minis.
That's
or-
true. That's true.
Yeah, you can't have too many of those. So D20, do you have any the figures, like the lead figures, or no? Oh, here we go.
Right there.
There it goes.
You probably should be wearing gloves or something. Those are probably a hazmat kind of thing situation over there in lead.
MVP right here.
Yeah, seriously, man. Gosh, what is a collection?
So Dr. Feargood, Stephen Hayhurst, you guys are welcome to pop in. We put the link in the chat. You can do
Oh,
this.
nice. There we go.
It's a show and
Little
tell.
lead wizard right there.
Yeah. That's the good stuff.
That's a sweet band name, Lead Wizard.
Lizard man with a club.
Lead wizard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy. Nice.
These are heavy. Those are lead. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, is there a difference between lead and pewter?
I
Okay.
believe so.
Okay.
So cool.
There's a little monk.
Yeah, I don't know what came first. Like, I imagine lead came first, and maybe they switched to pewter. I don't know.
Some kind of little witch with a staff. As you can
Yeah.
see, she's half
That's
dressed.
beautiful. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
that's a good one.
And I've even got the box that these came in still. And they had creatures that were never described. Like, I have no clue what this little thing's supposed to be right here to this day.
What the?
That's awesome.
Shambling mound right
Yeah,
there.
look at that. Where's my show?
Painted all these as a kid, yeah. So I got all kinds of stuff.
I was going to show them.
Somehow I've held on to them through all the moves.
So Gonzo, someone's asking if which of you cats is going to be doing a page flip video. I said
Yeah.
that'd be
I-
nerd immersion right
I've
there.
already seen everything that's in that book about 10 times because of
Yeah.
everybody, all the D&D channels and Twitter and everything everywhere. Everyone's just, hey, look, this is in here. And they're literally going page by page. To me, it ruins the fun of me getting the book and exploring for myself. So when we do reviews, even when we did your book review, we didn't want to give away all the puzzles. I mean, what fun is that? So we just do an overall review of a book or something, but I can't stand the amount of, in D&D themselves are doing it. They're putting out videos talking
Yes.
about what's in the book. I know it's hype and that's how we are these days. It's
Right.
hyping up our product, but there's something about, to me, leaving some of it for the buyer to explore.
Right.
Leave some of the new products you put out, let them come and find out, and then garner that excitement.
Mhm.
As people start posting, hey, this is in here and this is in here. after the books come out. But I think today we're always trying to beat the punch, and
Yeah.
it's
Well, I mean, especially with to be on the creative side with YouTube. I mean, there is a lot of. So I did the
Pressure.
puzzle, the display of daggers. That's a new puzzle coming out in Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. And I put a link to it on my website and a few notes on there. My website has seen 20 times the traffic because people are searching for Tasha's Cauldron of Everything PDF and landing on that page.
Right.
And so for like content creators and stuff like that, getting your hands on that information and putting it out there is going to be, I mean, it's going to be a huge spike. I mean, if you're talking about whatever's, Icewind Dale, when I come out, if you're talking about that, if you're talking about Tasha's, that's the reason why, is just because you get so many views, even more than your clickbait titles. I mean, it.
Yeah.
So what you need is a clickbait title for Tasha's. You won't believe what's in Tasha's Cauldron.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
You're
right.
exactly right. Well, I know the reason behind it. I'm just, as a fan, because I'm a fan of this stuff like you guys are. Look at your collections behind you and with you. As a fan, I get disheartened because I want to explore the book by for myself. But as a YouTube creator and as a person who understands capitalism, it is what it is. It's just the nature of the beast, and we have to live with it. But I haven't watched any of the reviews. I haven't went to any of the videos. Nerd Immersion does a great job, and he covers everything. As soon as it comes out, he gets more information. He pops it out there on the hour. He's like our Fox News or whatever news you watch. He's like our newscast, of D&D for sure. Yeah. And
I'm not so certain he's not from the future, man. He's putting it out. He's putting it out before Wizards is.
Yeah, he's plugged in. But for me, I don't like ruining the things. It's like a Christmas present that you already know what it is. Right. There's something about opening it. So
like a movie or the trailer.
Well, thanks, D20. I want to let him go so he's not trapped in our conversation here. Thanks for coming on. I know there's some other people want to jump on. Man, we're envious of that collection, buddy. We're going to have to, from time to time, we're going to have to refer to you for, hey, do you have this? And can you show us what that looks like?
Yeah, for sure.
No problem. Let me know.
All right, appreciate having you on, buddy. See ya.
Nice to meet you.
Good to meet you.
Sure, man. Take care. All
right, we got Steven here. Hey, Steven.
Hi, Steven.
I thought I was live. Okay, I'm live now.
You're live now.
Yep.
Yeah,
Good to see you guys.
Good to see you. You have like a little green room down here that people are waiting in.
Oh, are they? No kidding. Okay. Well, hey, listen.
You're fine.
Just want to say I'm a fan. Wally DM, boy, your puzzle rooms are something else.
Wow, thank you.
And I get a kick out of the. So you're doing stuff on DM's Guild now, yeah?
Yes, I got a book on Drive-Thru RPG actually, because DM's Guild wouldn't let me put a printed product out there, and everybody wanted the hardback version. So
you're contending with Grimtooth now.
Yeah. Grimtooth and I we're going neck and neck. Grimtooth's an old man. I got him.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you, when I was 12, I'm 47, by the way. So when I was 12, Grimtooth was like the stuff. All of the guys looked at Grimtooth. They just really wanted to lay one on their players. So we all grabbed the Grimtooth traps. And I do like your puzzle books. I think they're great.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Tomorrow, by the way, we got maybe a little bit of a lag, but tomorrow we've got Tasha's Cauldron of Everything coming out.
Absolutely.
And I've got it coming as well, although Amazon promises it might be there before 11 o'clock. So if I'm doing a page through, it might be 11 o'clock at night before that happens.
Right. Very good. I understand.
Yeah.
Are you guys doing the same?
I'm going to be getting on D&D Beyond, and then I've got the alternate cover. I got a local game shop that's going to hook me up with it. This is actually going to be my first alternate cover. And if you have any of like the previous ones, like the Xanathar's alternate cover is like hundreds of dollars right now.
Yeah, they are. The resale on that is insane.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. But that's not the reason why I'm getting it. The reason why I'm getting it is because I've been buying all these 5th edition books, and when I go to grab one, I can't tell the difference because my eyesight's not that good. So I look over there when I'm running in a game, and I'm just like, nope, that's not it. That's not it. So I want something that stands out. So I'm going to go with the alternate.
I've always passed up on those because of the alternate color covers because for some I don't know. Maybe I'm OCD, but I like my books to match.
Yeah,
And
I
if
can
I
see
can,
behind you. I can see behind you all the red and black.
Yes,
behind
I
you.
can see him too.
yeah. That's
There it is.
the shelf of stuff.
So
I love it.
Very good.
yeah,
That's awesome. There's some first edition stuff up there too. I see those orange binders.
You know what's really cool, and I don't mean to commandeer the conversation,
No,
but
you're
I
fine.
just recently purchased the last 3 that I was missing of the first edition books. I will have all of the orange spines by the end of this week.
Oh,
And-
that is
job.
awesome.
You know what? It's expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
sure.
telling you, if I were to resell what I've purchased there just on the orange spines, I'd have to put it on eBay. It's starting bid of $600. That's how retarded it's getting.
Whoa. Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. Well, congrats. That's an amazing feat. I love that.
Don't tell my wife.
No, I won't, because Christmas is coming, and if she finds out where the money went for her gift, you're in trouble. So
Yeah, right.
yeah, we're not going to say anything.
We don't know anything about it. We didn't hear it here.
Yep.
Yeah, well, luckily she doesn't care about this hobby at all, so she'll never watch this video.
There you go.
This is awesome, by the way. I didn't know you guys all collectively got together and just started talking.
Oh,
Yeah.
Mark,
this-
you do
It's new.
you're okay. So I've got a Facebook page, not like I'm name dropping here, but you post stuff on that page all the time, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
D&D. Yeah, dude, I love your videos. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah. So, as far as you asked about Tasha's a page by page, Nerd Immersion, we were just saying is probably the guy. I would think our buddy Bob World Builder would do a series, but he's pretty embroiled right now in the Icewind Dale series. I don't know if he'll have time to do
His
it.
videos are so good.
they are very good.
Yeah, we love Bob.
Yeah, I love these walkthrough videos, man. Helping
Yeah.
coach folks.
Yeah.
Matthew Perkins is doing one on the Lost Mines of Fandelver right now.
Right.
Yes, yep, it sure is.
Yep.
It's great help for DMs, man. You're kind of clueless, or you got a little stage fright as a DM, and you're jumping into this kind of thing, and you're not really sure as to what to do. Those
Right.
coaching videos they're irreplaceable, man. There's so much value in them.
Nice.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I learned. And that's actually the reason why Mark and I decided to do a YouTube channel is we learned how to play 5th edition because we'd been out for a while too from YouTube channel, from,
I did too.
Nerdarchy and Taking 20, some of the older channels and Wally DM and experts like that. So we learned from them and we're like, we want to share this too because it's a lot of fun to play and we want other people to play. And yeah, YouTube is a great way to learn. I mean, anything happens in the house, light breaks or something. We're like, okay, go on YouTube and figure out how to fix it, right?
That's
And
how we fixed the bridge as we YouTube it.
Yeah, that's how things
You're
get
gonna
fixed.
learn how to do brain
Absolutely.
surgery on YouTube.
yeah,
absolutely.
AJ Pickett. If I can name drop one more guy, AJ Pickett. You want to know about monster mythology or the lore behind it? I'm going to throw these critters at my guys before the game starts. I need to know everything there is to know.
Yeah.
AJ Pickett.
Mhm.
Yeah, he's great. Yeah, we'd love to. These are people we'd love to do some collabs with.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Hey, don't forget,
I talk
I'm with you
to
on that.
him often. By the way, he's totally
He's a good guy.
Yeah.
he's open. I guess is what I mean. You know.
Yeah, for sure.
That's one of the reasons I'd love to see. I mean, get this whole COVID thing behind us. As I was telling the guys earlier, there is when I went to Gen Con a year ago, I got to meet like all those guys. I mean, they're just there. They're taking pictures with people. They're talking with you. I mean, I met Taken 20. I met Nerd Immersion. I met Guy. I met, XP to level 3. I mean, all those guys were there. And it was just being able to see them. And I mean, everybody's just like they are, I mean, they're just persons. I mean, it was really, really cool.
Well, it's cool to meet Steven. It's cool to meet D20.
Yes.
I can see us in the future all sitting down and playing a couple games and killing each other. Whoever the DM is, we'll roll D20. Okay, highest gets the DM, and it's us against you. But
Well, you know the rule of thumb is you never put more than one front man in the same band. So who's going to be DM? That's my question.
we'll make it do it. And we can all throw stuff at them.
Yeah.
Hey guys, listen. I saw your video while I'm cooking dinner. I got to get back to it, and there's other people waiting in the queue, so I'm going to jump off.
All right.
It's good to see you, though.
Buddy, appreciate it.
Everybody.
Meet you.
All right, man. Goodbye.
Bye.
Take care.
So speaking of name dropping, this is to kind of touch on something that Logan was talking about with Theros. I don't know if you guys have seen this yet, but Jordan, the PH is silent.
Yeah.
just released a video. So on the DMs Guild, there's how do you say? Is it piety or piety? Piety. There's a piety system that somebody created for the gods of the Forgotten Realms.
Wow.
Yeah, he did a video on it. Looks like this was, I'm looking at it now, it's about 3 days ago, and it's out there in the DMs Guild. It's I don't buy a lot of PDFs because I prefer books, but this is a PDF I'm probably going to pick up. Just looking at the introduction there, it's got for all of your Forgotten Realm gods, stuff they like, they don't like, just like it's set up in Theros, like you were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
So definitely something to look forward to.
I love that, like, within these adventure modules, they drop little kind of unique things that really you could take and apply to any setting.
Mm-hmm.
Like those tables for working with the gods, you could easily make that for Lolth. Can you imagine how crazy a set of adventures with characters and villains and monsters based off of the Spider Queen would be? I'm sure.
Oh, awesome.
Was all about that, but you could make that. You could set that up for anything. So I'll have to check that out on the.
Yeah, definitely do. I'm going to go and pick it up. It's not very expensive. It's like, I think it's like $8 or $9 maybe, or it might be more. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm definitely going to get that.
That's awesome.
All right. Do you have anyone else waiting right now?
Nobody in right now, so anybody wants to jump in, let us know.
Yeah, anyone wants to come in, come on in. I'm going to share this one, which is How to D&D's one of his favorite source books. Prepare.
Oh yeah, I've seen Fred talk about that.
Yep, he's talked about this. I've used, I think, 3 different adventures. I think there's, I don't want to miss, I think there's at least 12 adventures in here or something. But what's cool is they use the monsters from, what's that? Frog God Games or Kobold Press book, Tomb of Beast or whatever, Tome of Beast. They use the monsters from there. And then the adventures are really cool. And of course, they're just like 2-page adventures. And then they come with maps.
Oh, nice.
And they're good little side quests or little stories you can pop into your thing. I've used several in here.
I love Kobold Press. The other stuff is so fun.
Yeah.
You just throw it right in your.
They are.
And again, when you're not using monster manual monsters, that's kind of neat because the players don't already know how to deal with it. If it's not a werewolf or, this or that they're used to dealing with, you can keep them off guard a little bit with something that you describe that they're not sure what it is. And, so that's kind of cool. But Prepared, cool little source book. And this was the 5th edition. It looks like I paid $15 or around there. But yeah, it was one of really very cool resource for me. For sure.
Oh, absolutely. And I absolutely, you touched on it there. The Tome of Beasts, the Creature Codex, Tome of Beasts 2. I love those monsters. There's an eyeball swarm that I've been using in my Dragon Heist game. I use that all the time. I love that monster.
So mean.
And then I think there's a YouTuber that might be on the stream that actually has a monster in the Tome of Beasts 2. I could be
cool.
mistaken.
Okay.
Yeah.
So cool.
I was one of the
I heard
lucky,
that rumor, yes.
yeah, I was one of the lucky few that got my monster printed in there, which was really neat. The Diminution Drake is what it is.
Oh, okay.
The Demolition Drake.
All right, I'll look it up. That's awesome.
It shrinks you down so that it can suck you through its anteater like mouth.
What?
Oh.
That's so mean. Why would you put that into the world? Oh my God.
You're welcome.
So, Doctor, if you're good, has a request there, Wally. I don't know if you have that link available. If you could drop that in the chat.
Yeah. Do you want the video or just a link directly? Probably just a link directly to the.
Probably
video,
link to DM's Guild if you find it. The person said he had trouble finding it, so that might be helpful.
Yeah. Let me see here. Yeah, it's $8.
Ooh, does Gonzo own the module where Chaos reigns? What?
We get a buzzing every couple of minutes. I don't know what it is, but I definitely hear it.
I don't
I'm
know.
hearing that as well. Is
90
that
different
me?
Tables on this desk.
Yeah, it's a mess.
It could be anything.
I don't think it's.
Could be you. Could be me. Could be.
It's just.
Can you hear me now?
So they're asking. Pillrider wants to know if I have the where Chaos reigns. I do not. I saw you ask that before. I'm sorry. I do not have that. I want to look that up or see what that is because it sounds like it's interesting. Where Chaos reigns. So it sounds like
No relation.
games.
No relation to Caves of Chaos, which is in Keep on the Borderlands.
Right.
I'd imagine.
No, I don't know.
Oh, D20 has it.
Yeah.
There you go. Man, what a collection! Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I could just sit there all day with them and be like, "Do you have this?" And watch
Got a
them.
mammoth on the cover. There you
That'd
go.
be so
Yeah,
cool.
right. Do you have? It's like Go Fish.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It says.
Nice.
Mammoth on the cover. That's awesome.
Very
So the other source book that I like is the for 5th edition that came out was you talked about Tales of Yawning Portal, but also the one that's based on the seafaring stuff. What was it called? I can't think of it.
Ghosts of Saltmarsh.
Yes, Ghosts of Saltmarsh, which is based on all the a lot of the older modules that we played that I know D20 has and could pull them up and show us. But that's a good one too, because you can just take one of those adventures, depending on what level your character's at, and pop them in and go from there. Another good resource for adventures for sure.
There you go, Gonzo.
Send me a PO box. I'll send it to you. Oh, sweet.
So
Very
we
cool.
kind of shared the older modules. Do you guys have any favorites that are 5th edition, the newer ones?
You're a moderator.
Of the I'm sorry, hang on, I'm
Yeah,
trying to
go
figure
ahead.
something out.
Well, I would say like Tales of the Yawning Portal because of using, like I said, I used Tomb of Horrors, but also the book. What was I thinking? Don't think it's in there, but the Against the Giants one. I've been prepping that one as well, and I've been looking at Ghost of Saltmarsh. So I've been preparing different ones to do with our group. We were talking that we haven't run as many of these adventure books as we'd like. Icewind Dale as well. So it's like I was prepping these, and then Icewind Dale comes out and I go, oh, I want to run that one. So I'm feeling very ADD when it comes to. I don't even have ADD that I don't think I do, but I feel like I do when it comes to these adventures because Icewind Dale looks really good. Like I really, really want to run that one.
It looks amazing.
But also I think Gonzo wants to run it too. So we're arm wrestling over that one, I think. So there's that. But yeah. And then Tasha's isn't really an adventure book. It's more of a expansion.
I think it's more of a player resource, kind of like
It is. It's
Xanathar's.
Player's Handbook 3.
Mhm.
Yeah.
There's Player's
Okay.
Handbook. There's Xanathar's Guide to Everything, which is Player's Handbook 2, and this is Player's
Right.
Handbook 3.
Right.
Other than it has some stuff for DMs as well. Like every DM has to have it because they're going to want to know what their players are doing, but it has puzzles and other things, right? So
Yeah.
Send that into the live chat.
Yeah, and spoiler alert, I'm going to do a video probably on all of the puzzles. It'll be my little walkthrough through Tasha's.
Right. I have a special place in my heart for Curse of Strahd. Yes, that's good one, Robert. Yeah, that one's great because Gonzo. We did that one just recently. Curse of Strahd. Gonzo was running it out. That's pretty sweet. It hits on all my favorite stuff. I grew up on Stephen King, so vampires and stuff and all that dark vibe. I love that stuff. So yes, very good.
I don't know if have you played Eberron yet, Wally?
I have not played in an Eberron setting. The only thing that I'm playing right now is we're on over 2 years on Dragon Heist, which is our main one, and then I'm also in a Theros campaign and a Curse of Strahd game, and both of those are just getting started.
Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, so that was my other show and tell. I absolutely love Dragon Heist.
Look at all those notes.
I know I've got all my pages marked. I mean,
Nice.
So we've been playing a little bit over 2 years, and how Dragon Heist is there's a stone. It's called the Stone of Galore that leads to this big vault of dragons, which is like 500,000 gold pieces. And just after 2.5 years, we finally got our first glimpse of the Stone of Galore. So we're just now getting into chapter 4, and that's because I like to throw so much homebrew and all the characters' backstories, and I like to integrate all of that. So we've ran probably about 50% out of the book and then 50% out of my head as far as the book goes. But it's absolutely amazing because I came from the old days of where, a lot of it is fighting and combat and stuff like that. And I wanted something that was going to help me learn how to run NPCs better. And Dragon Heist will do that to you. So it has really helped my game as far as developing, the city, developing NPCs, developing quests and side quests and storylines that go along those. And it's very much worthwhile. I don't think it gets enough credit when compared to some of the bigger ones.
Yeah, I've heard good things about Dragon Heist. I heard that was, so I've watched some of these videos where they ranked the different ones, and Dragon Heist actually was near the top. It was one of the ones that did really well.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. I highly recommend it. It's good.
Well, gosh, 2.5 years. See, you bring up a good point. Now, honestly, obviously you said you threw in a lot of homebrew stuff, but there's so much content in some of these adventures. Like let's say, okay, we jump into Icewind Dale. There's a good 6 months to a year of your life. I mean, it's like you really can't possibly. So I'm in awe of like XP level 3 because he's like, yeah, I've run this one like 3 times and then this one twice, and then I'm like, he says he plays like every day. Like that's
Wow.
that you'd have to be able to run that, to be able to do all the adventures that are released in a day. So there's a lot of content there.
Have you seen? He actually streams some of his games, and I've seen he's like this when he's running through it. It's just like, all right, you're here. Just like, wow.
You'd have to.
Yeah, I mean, he's very fast. If you watch any of his stream games, he's pretty quick.
Yeah, right. He'd have to be. Just got home. Popped in to say hi. Hi, Dungeoneer.
Dungeoneer, yeah. If you want, pop on in and show us some of your stuff, or talk about some of your favorite adventures. Excuse me.
Look, Gonzo's getting all emotional over it.
Yeah,
I'll try to pop. The link is in the chat, Dungeoneer. I'll try to link it, but last time I did, I got in trouble with Google moderators. They said I was spamming it, so let me try it again here.
What does that mean?
Spamming it.
Well, they said it was deleted because they thought it was spam because I keep dropping links, I guess.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that made it through.
There
All
it
right.
is. Click that if anybody wants to come in, click that. Also, Dungeoneers Pack has a YouTube channel. If you guys don't know, he's really
cool.
good. He's one of those channels that's different than Mark and I, different than Wally. He has tons of information. It's cut really well, and he's you're not looking at faces like us. You're just looking at the product or the pictures that he has to go with his videos. He's got really good videos, and his channel's growing really quick. So I'm happy for him, and hope that if you guys haven't subbed to him, please do so. Another great channel that you can always use good D&D content for sure, and an up and coming guy, and he's got a lot. He knows the game really well. So,
Awesome. Yeah, I watch so much YouTube, so I add my subscription list is like a mile long. I love it.
Yeah, mine too.
Well, and that's the thing. Like we talk about, Gauntlet and I talk about this all the time. Is like people are like. Competition amongst channels. Like, look, there. I don't think there can be too much Dungeons and Dragons content because I know, like any, you look at your TV, you have all different channels. There's been times where I'm like waiting for new content to come out because I've watched all the ones I subscribe to their content. So I honestly think that more is good. So not a bad thing.
I don't watch every video from all the people I sub to. Sometimes the content is not what I'm interested in, like the like Tasha stuff. I just don't want to see it because I want to explore the book myself. So when you have a long list, it gives you still more opportunities to watch what you like from them when they come out with stuff you like, or when Mark and I drop clickbait videos that people.
Like our next one, worst Bible things that we were talking about earlier. All right. Yeah. So Dungeoneers Pack, welcome.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey, good to see you. Hey, look at you with all that professional microphone and stuff. I love it.
Yeah. Honestly, a lot of this setup is actually pretty cheap if you guys are getting into the YouTube stuff. Like a mic stand is like $10 maybe. You don't need too many like really expensive things.
Right. That's true. That's true. You're right. All right. So what's going on? What do you have anything to share? Any kind of adventures that you prefer?
The big one is probably my favorite because it was the one that actually made me really fall in love with the game. Was Storm King's Thunder.
Okay.
It was the one that my group prior to that we played like a year before, just playing random stuff my DM would run with us.
Mm-hmm.
But we took a break and then we all said we like playing D&D, but we wanted to play a story and actually finish something. So we picked that up. I started off with a brand new character while a couple of my buddies picked up their old characters from our previous campaign. I was playing at the time they didn't have goblins, but I'm like a really big fan of like goblin characters, and that transfers over from Magic the Gathering. I pretty much play red decks that just are little small goblin guys and just try to burn out people fast. So
red burn.
Yeah. So I played a goblin bard since I wanted to try something different, but I played the Matt Mercer bard that was based off of like being a concert conductor. I don't know if you guys have seen that. It's on the DM's Guild. I didn't really like how it played at the time. I know there's been a couple updates, but so my DM let me bring back my old character from the previous campaign, which was a wizard that I ended up turning into an artificer. And the UA artificer at the time was really bad. You had that thunder gun, and
oh really?
Yeah, and spoilers. End of Storm King's Thunder, you tend to fight something that's resistant to thunder damage and lightning damage, and the thunder gun is thunder damage. So you can figure out what I did absolutely nothing in that last combat to end the campaign. But if that game forced me to really learn mechanics, especially since I played a character that was a bit subpar. So so I had I learned a lot of combat mechanics, trying to move my character away to grant to take away reactions and stuff to enemies.
Right.
And then also just learning in general displacement. So when I went back and started playing melee characters, a lot of melee character strength actually just comes from understanding the flow of combat and taking away actions and maximize your actions, while wizards and other spellcasters tend to just cause every sort of condition or massive damage. Yeah. So it's just one of those things you trade off. And I think it just made me fall in love with the game even more on a mechanical level, while I was watching Critical Role. It made me fall in love with it in a story roleplay sort of level.
Yeah, definitely.
Very nice.
Yeah. So how long have you been playing Dungeoneer?
I want to say, let's see, I want to say 5th edition came out in 2012. So I want to say maybe a couple years after that.
Okay.
Yeah. So I've been playing D&D mainly with 5th edition. I tried 4th edition about like a one shot, and it just didn't click. And then back in the day, we played like a D20 Warcraft system, which was pretty cool, but it was Warcraft, so it's not really comparable.
Yeah.
Well, that's funny because Warcraft. I ran across some. I was looking at some old stuff, and they had some stuff. It seemed like it might have been third party stuff though. But for 4th edition, some people tried to put in some Warcraft kind of stuff. So I'm like, So I played World of Warcraft for about 15 years. So I'm very comfortable with that kind of stuff. But yeah, that's so you've been playing like 6 years. That's good. That's a good amount of time. So you've seen, so you played mostly 5th and just a tiny bit of 4th. And I'm guessing no 3.5 like Wally and all of us we played way back in the day.
No, a couple players in my group, especially our usual DM is a big time. They're 3.5 players. So they always talk about like how many more options they are. Right. But then they also at the same time, they're just like, well, you can do this broken thing and then this broken thing and then this broken thing. I'm like, I'm like, that's fun and all, but sometimes limitation creates creativity. So it's one of those things where you don't always want too many options.
Well, and honestly, Gonzo Noise, we talk about things, those older editions are they're really roll heavy, they're math heavy, there's like tons of different things you roll from. There's was it 3.5 had the bloodied state, and there's all these different things to remember that it just we kind of feel like now, and I'm sorry, Wally, if you don't agree, but some of that stuff gets in the way of the playing sometimes, and the story and everything's story driven in 5th edition. And boy, I said something like that in one of the Facebook groups, and we've always had story in 5th edition in 3.5, and it went.
It's always been story. I think it's just a little different. The game evolves because we evolve. I've said this before, but I've never gone to anyone's house, played Monopoly, and played with the same rules. My house has different rules. Like some people are like, well, I put money on the free parking, or I do, I trade after everyone's got one property or whatever. Like everyone homebrews everything. And I think the game of D&D has just evolved over time, but we've evolved. We expect different things from our entertainment, our hobbies. We expect different things. We would be bored if everything stayed the same as it was when Wally and Mark and I first started playing. It would not be as fun, and it definitely would not be as popular.
Right. Absolutely.
So I think 5th edition is awesome. We're going to do a video on that we like 5th edition, unlike our last video.
It's not what your last video said.
We're gonna win back some of our fans, maybe lose some that came here. And went, we hate 5th edition. So
I think the terminology for that is crunchy for like 3.5. And I played Pathfinder for about 6 months, and if it wasn't for being turned to 5th edition, I wouldn't be talking to you guys today. I would have been out of it. I I didn't like it. There's so much to learn. It was like I was studying for a test every time before we played, and 5th edition saved my D&D life. So
yeah, we use the word crunchy. That was the word. Okay, yeah, it definitely feels that way. So Pale Rider had a question here about Palladium. I have heard of him, but I did not play Palladium nor Rifts. No, but I will say I think I just heard it. Was it? Did you watch Davey Chappie's video, Gonzo? Did you say you mentioned you saw?
I did watch.
Yeah,
it.
I think you mentioned Palladium as one. So Davey Chappie's starting something that I think is a kind of a cool, bold thing. He's going to be talking about all the different RPG games out there to kind of show that there's a variety besides D&D. And I think his premise is good. It's just not our vibe possibly, but I like the idea that he wants to show us that there's different things that you could be playing. The one thing he mentioned in that video was that sometimes people don't want to learn a whole new system and sit down and I'm like, maybe I'm just old and tired or what, but I'm like, I don't know if I want to do that, because I kind of want to play Pathfinder, but I kind of don't want to learn all the new stuff there. And so I don't know.
I think you're right.
There's a few.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. Oh, there's a few cool things that I miss about Pathfinder. One of it was ability damage and ability drain. So you could actually have monsters that would affect like your strength or your charisma or whatever else and kind of lower it a little bit. Mm-hmm. Animal companions was really cool in Pathfinder. And the one that I missed the most probably is disease and poison. Because in D&D 5e, okay, you're poisoned. But like Pathfinder and 3.5, I think for that matter, they go into you can pick all these different poisons. They all have different effects, and the same with diseases too. I mean, they just really outline it with all of these different things, as opposed to 5th edition, where it's kind of just a blanketed effect, where the poison from this type of a spider and this type of a snake just do the same thing.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's something that I'm always complaining to Gonzo about, versus even World of Warcraft that had some of that stuff. You get damage over time for warlocks, and curses were a big deal, and there was these things, but everything's just like, none of that stuff seems to matter so much in 5th edition. You get a curse on you, you get a disease, you get anything like that, poison. It's like, it's more of an annoyance than, oh my gosh, I got to get this fixed. Yeah. So that is a concern.
And it seems like mechanically those are actually kind of left to the side, and they want you to have more of a narrative take on it. Yeah. Which is one of those things. Like 5th edition's greatest strength and its weakness is how customizable it is. Right. So for a lot of people that are looking for just to play stuff right out the box, you're going to get really frustrated. But those that like to tinker and build, well, you just throw on all those different poisons, all those different hexes, and just sit there and tinker and fit it to whatever your table's doing.
That's a really good point, because in some ways it's easy to DM and it's also hard to DM. Because you have to do more narrative stuff, and you kind of add more flavor kind of stuff to it. But at the same time, as far as the running the game, the fundamental stuff, it's not super hard. There's not a lot of things to worry about and all that when you're running the game. So that's a good point. It is a blessing and a curse at the same time. Yes, level drain.
No, go ahead. I was going to say, Matt Nerdy, if you. He talked about he didn't click on the video for Davey Chappie, but the video is pretty good. He basically just said, if you're getting bored with D&D, which that hasn't happened for us yet, and I think that's what we're all saying in here, is that we haven't been bored with 5th edition, because you can keep making it different any way you want. You can play Theros, Logan likes. You can add poisons and levels to things that you want. You can use exhaustion. You can change hit points or rest. How rest works within the game, whatever. But he's saying, if you're getting bored, try something else. Use that to rekindle your fire, and then go back to D&D. You probably will go back to D&D, but I just haven't had run into that yet.
I think that also is that if you play other kinds of tabletop RPGs, there could be certain elements you bring back into your game, kind of like what Dad was saying. One thing that I tried mess around with was Call of Cthulhu. That was a really fun, different kind of like investigative, horror, cosmic horror thing. And one thing I really loved was this thing called Sanity Checks. Where the more messed up stuff that happened, like you open a room, you look inside, you just see this giant curling octopus tentacle, and you have to roll to see if your mind's going to snap or not. And it was out of a percentage out of 100, you had a certain amount. And if you didn't make your save, if you didn't roll under a certain percent, it would permanently go down until at the end of the game. If you're at like a critical sanity level or something, you would snap, the DM would roll on a table or just make up something horrible, and you had no control over your character. Like I saw one game where the character just had to laugh. They couldn't do anything but laugh for all of their talking or anytime something stressed them out, and they'd go into these fits of laughter that they'd have to save their way out of. But that's something I've taken back. I remember I played it with my friends, and I brought in this concept of sanity checks, and just use that to up the ante and mess with them just that much more.
I don't know. As a DM, I think I need sanity checks half the time with the group.
Hey, Logan, do you have a DMG,
Yes, sir.
right?
Yeah.
Flip to the back there. There's actually optional rules in the back of the DMG for I think it's honor and sanity.
And they have like conditions of madness.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's,
Yeah.
Oh, it's so fun.
Yeah, and I want to say Out of the Abyss expanded on that a little bit too.
Did they?
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
cool.
want to say because there was that whole theme with the demons and taking over the Underdark. So
Oh, cool.
there's a bit of that.
Looking at the Demogorgon can drive you insane or something. Like
Yeah, yeah,
Josh, I had a question. Is it Josh?
yes.
Yeah. Okay. Why did you start a D&D channel? I'm just wondering.
Part of it because I wanted to put my creative juices into something out there. Also to do something different than my day-to-day job. Normally I sit at a desk, just input data and out. So I want to do something a little different that can get my head going.
Oh.
And also I was struggling with finding D&D content that I was specifically looking for.
Yeah.
So all over, there's tons of great resources for DM-centered stuff, which is great. There's, I think for 5th edition, there's a lot of that stuff needs to be out there. But for player stuff, a lot of it was just optimization,
Yeah.
which is great.
Min-max.
Yeah, which is great. But role play is another aspect of the game. So what I like to do is always play against type or play a character that necessarily isn't the most statistically optimal. So like a lot of on my channel I do character builds, but the character builds aren't based around like, for example, a Hexblade Warlock with Sentinel and Great Weapon Master, etc. It's more, hey, I want to play a chef. How do I play a chef in D&D, and how do I be the best version of that with what I'm given? And that's what I'm trying to aim for, and also provide best ways to implement like feats or other stuff. Take a look at the game in a different perspective and not just worry about optimization, while also looking at the topics that are going on right now.
That's perfect. And it's fun. It's funny because that's your focus. And then Mark and I, when we do character builds, if you watch like how to build a rogue or whichever one we did, we talk about the backstory. We don't even care picking the best race for the best clock.
Yeah.
There's a lot of those min-maxing videos out there. And Nerd Arc did them all 5 years ago when the game first came out. They did everything. Hey, you want to build this ultimate?
Yeah.
So that's already done. But yeah, we talk about the backstory. You're talking about a different flavor in itself. And I think that's the key to having fun with YouTube, is just getting your own creative energy out, doing what you enjoy, and then connecting with the fans like we're doing. So that's awesome. That's good to hear.
Absolutely. Yeah. Welcome to YouTube,
Thanks.
man.
His channel's doing well too. He's growing quick.
Yeah. And nothing
So
against like optimizing.
Go ahead.
What's that?
Sorry.
Okay, there's not, and I also want to make it a point. There's nothing wrong against optimizing.
No.
Those discussions are actually pretty good to kind of really figure out the mechanics of the game, where we can actually see the weaknesses of certain things, so that when we do go back and do your surveys, please, when they go out there, we can make the game function a lot smoother and better.
Yeah. And honestly, those actually get a lot of hits. A lot of people are looking for that, the optimized character.
Yeah.
But that's just not my style. So
Yeah.
it is
Yeah,
what it
same.
is. I saw you did one on building a good archer with feats.
The ranged one.
Yeah.
And you came up, and that was, or not an archer, long range, because then you added like magic, what was it? Magic initiator.
Sniper.
Pretty much, yeah. My last video I put up was a feat video to kind of wrap up a series of feats videos I was doing, and it was specifically on range characters. Yeah, that one right there. And yeah, one of the feats in there I suggested was Magic Initiate, which is, I think, is one of the most versatile feats in the game, because it just gives you access to a lot of just basic magic that do a lot of effects that can actually maximize your damage per round, in terms of, if we're going to talk about optimization.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you can incorporate that to add in so much flavor, and you don't actually need to take it just for optimization. Magic Initiate is just one of those very wide story-driven feats that you don't need to multi-class like some people do.
Right,
You can just take that feat instead to give you that flavor of the class you want.
Well done, man. That's one of my favorite feats. I love that one just so I can get guidance.
Yeah.
When I'm not playing, and guidance is one of my favorite cantrips. Like, how do I have guidance?
Great one.
And initiate. Here we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, good choice.
Yeah.
It's ranged.
Excellent.
Overboard DM has a comment. 806 are a huge Warhammer.
I saw that. Yeah, right here.
He's talking about Dwarven Forge videos and high-end miniature. That may lead to what we wanted to mention tonight, right?
Yeah, so we have an idea for our next show. I think next show at Gonzo, I guess this is you telling me this is a good idea, you think?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, so our next live stream, we'll do a show and tell, and this time we're going to show off your minis. So show off your painted minis, and if you want to come on and show us, because I know people love to see minis, and I know I like to see some that painted up because I'm envious because I'm not a great painter. I'm pretty basic. As my students would say, I'm pretty basic. That right there is extra. That's like, yeah, that is really great. Oh my gosh. See, that's the kind of stuff. Who painted that one though? That's new. I haven't seen that one.
Probably my daughter or my wife. They're better painters than either of
I
us.
think mom did this one.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, we're sloppy when we paint, and then they come out with perfect looking figures, and it's
Is
fun.
there anything our key grip can't do?
No, Key Grip does everything.
That's amazing.
But this is a stream I expect Cujo and other people to try to make it. I mean,
He's just asking overboard. Yeah.
what day is this stream?
Yeah. It'll be. I could tell you the day. Hold on. It is 2 weeks from today. So we're doing these every other week. So be sure and tune in November 30th. And I'll give you time. I figured one thing by announcing it, it'll give people time to paint their minis. And I know if my wife's listening, she's always after me to finish my stack of minis that I have, start painting them. So I'm sure that's something that I'm going to hear about. So I have 2 weeks to get that painted up and looking good. Because all I really have is a couple I painted. I think they're over there. One of them's a troll, and it was pretty basic looking. So I'll try to do something a little more advanced and do something a little better. Maybe. Did anybody know if there's a paint by number figure that you can get out there? Anybody?
Josh, do you buy them already pre-made, or do you even use minis?
What's it called? Before the pandemic, we played at the table. We mainly use pre-painted plastic.
Okay.
And actually, WizKids is putting out some really more high detailed ones, and they're actually a lot cheaper. But before everything, I switched over to Hero Forge to make super custom.
Oh,
So
cool.
I might have one
Yeah.
around here.
I'm hoping for a gift card for Christmas for Hero Forge.
Seriously.
How much?
This see if it gets into focus. This was my Eberron character for our Warforged. It's not done yet. And I was
Nice.
finishing it up before we COVID happened, and then so I decided not to finish it.
Look at him. He's put he's got the little gum tack stuff on the base, so he can put it on there and turn it and paint.
Yeah.
I've seen people do that. That's pretty interesting. That's good. See, that's right there. That little move right there. That's more advanced than me. I'm very impressed. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm very.
Minis by you right now?
What was that?
Does Wally have any minis by him right now?
I have one. I can actually I got a lot. They're like, hold on.
Wait till the
Oh,
stream
he's
drops.
got.
Cujo said
I'm
he's
gonna be here
working
for
out.
the
We
stream,
can
so I gotta share it now.
maybe can wait. We maybe can, because I know he'd love to show off some of his stuff. I mean, he's really into it, and that's what his channel's built on. So maybe we can make it work for his schedule, or drop it maybe later that week. He said he's on. I don't know. I don't mind doing that because
he can also bring up his minis anytime.
that's
Yep.
true.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
true.
Overboard, don't worry about it. We'll be on every couple weeks. So, another stream's fine. Yeah.
That's true. That's a better idea. See, the young guys are smarter than me for sure. I try to make everything work. And
You're not talking to me. I'm not a young guy. So that must be your chemo brain talking.
Well, this has been a really fun stream. It's been really cool to see people's different collections of adventures and things that they like to use. I think it's been fun for me also to see just how it doesn't matter what edition you're taking information from. You're just taking it and using it now and having a good time with it. That's been a lot of fun. And more importantly, it's been fun to communicate with the chat and all these great people and to promote people like Dungeoneers Pack Sub to his channel if you haven't already.
Awesome
Look,
channel.
the link's in the chat. Sub to
Thank
his
you guys.
channel.
Thank you.
Wally DM, go get his book. If you haven't, Josh, if you haven't grabbed the copy of his PDF or his book, he's got a great puzzle book that's awesome.
Actually, I plan on it when I get a little bit of cash this week.
Sure.
I am starting to do backup DMing, so
Oh,
There you go.
so
There you go.
I need some puzzles to throw in to my players.
Yeah,
Nice.
it belongs on everyone's shelf, and I'm a big proponent for good content. It needs to be talked about, and that's definitely good stuff. So, but I've had a good time. But I'm Bush, so I'm gonna have to bow out. I don't care if you guys stick around, but I'm okay.
Yeah, I'm fading too. I get up at 5 something. I'm starting to fade at this hour. So I thank you for coming on, Dungeoneers, and thanks Wally as always.
Thanks for having me.
joining us. Thank you,
you.
chat. Thanks for people that jump in and comments. I know some people came in and that was great. Others didn't feel as comfortable in front of a camera. I know that's daunting. And
fine.
some people,
Yeah, that's
Gail
fine.
said he started his drinking a little early or something, so he didn't think he should come on. I think that was his comment. So I guess I thank you maybe as an order there, but
Didn't stop me, Pale. I'm just saying.
yeah, Wally's pretty lit right now. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
No.
Also, want to mention, I know Matt Nerdy's in the chat. If he wants a wrench,
Hey,
we can
Matt.
throw it to him right now. I think he'd be a good moderator as well. So Matt, if you want one, just say yay, and Mark will give you the wrench or whatever. But the moderator status. And Wally, stay on for a minute when we close. I just wanted to say hi really quick. But
All right. Well, thanks for joining, everybody. I appreciate you coming. Matt, I went ahead and made you a moderator, so I think next time you're on, you should still be on there as a moderator. So next time we're on here, everyone that I made moderators should still be moderators as well. So we do need that. Sometimes we can't. But when we get hundreds of people on, it'll be really hard to keep track of all the questions, and the moderators can help us with that a little bit. So that would be good. And people ask for links, they could drop a link in there for us, like Gonzo said. So that's a big help. So thank you for everybody. Thank you for everybody coming in. I appreciate it. Thanks, D20, for showing off your amazing setup. My gosh, all that stuff. That was like crazy collection. That was great. So appreciate you coming. Thanks, guys. And all right. So until next time, guys.
yeah, class dismissed.
Class dismissed.
Class dismissed.
Take care, guys.